Hello everybody, welcome to the presentation on The Outcast by Sharankumar Limbale. Sharankumar Limbale's seminal work, The Outcast, which is also known as Akarmashi, is a poignant autobiography that exposes the sadness, the anguish of Dalit existence. It was first published in 1984 and is considered to be a landmark in Marathi Dalit literature. It was written in the Maha dialect and was translated to English by Santosh Bhumkar in 2003. In his autobiography, Limbale talks about his various trials and tribulations and narrates the hardships faced by the Mahar community in Maharashtra. Now let's take a look at the relevance of the title. Limbale calls himself an outcast, one who is outside the caste system, and therefore he is branded as inferior to everybody else. He is born as the illegitimate son of an upper caste Patil and a Dalit woman from the Mahar community. He is denied the label of his father's caste and not allowed to associate with his mother's community, and therefore he becomes the outsider. Everywhere he is the outsider. And he constantly feels that he doesn't belong, and this lack of a familial identity haunts him. He is traumatized again and again when this lack of identity becomes a stumbling block in his quest to lead a normal life. You see examples of this during his school life when the boy will be asked to bring in a signed paper. He tries to get the signature from his grandmother, but he is not allowed to present that signature because the grandmother can never be the legal guardian. And therefore the boy is in a fix because he cannot approach the Patil and ask him to sign the paper because the Patil is never going to acknowledge the fact that he is the biological father of Sharankumar Limbale. And therefore he had to face a lot of humiliation on account of being the outsider, somebody who technically does not have the label of a father. And later, when he tries to arrange a marriage for himself, he finds the same problem looming in front of him. People within the community were not keen on having an alliance with his family. And this happened in the case of his sisters as well. People did not want to marry into this family because they thought that these people are below par, they do not meet the requirements of a respectable family. So this is why Sharankumar Limbale calls himself the outcast. Now we move on to our next topic, self-identity and Dalit consciousness. The quest for identity is of paramount importance in the Dalit struggle. The denial of identity has scarred the Dalit psyche, and this is mirrored in all their narratives. Limbale narrates the acute sense of shame that he feels whenever he is forced to deal with his circumstances. He feels this humiliation searing his perspectives and value judgments. Right from their school days, the Dalit students are made to understand their lack of an identity. They are treated as untouchables who are not allowed to play with the upper caste children. The Dalits are not treated as individuals, and the upper castes negate their humanity by deliberately categorizing them as subhumans. Limbale notes that even after getting a job, he is scared to reveal his Dalit identity in the locality that he lives because he knows that the repercussions will be terrible. Limbale says that he had the upper caste surname Limbale, okay, and therefore it was easier for him to get a house or lodging within the community, because if the house owners had known that he is a Dalit, he probably wouldn't have got the lodging. The Dalit consciousness is steeped in shame and agony because the upper caste deny them subjecthood. The Dalit self-identity is brutally squashed, and he or she is forced to contemplate a reality which will never accept his or her individuality. Our next topic is painful pangs of hunger. Dalits are denied economic independence and often they have to languish in dire hunger, which robs them of their will to resist, the will to fight. Limbale narrates several incidents from his childhood where he had no other recourse but to receive the leftovers of the upper caste people because hunger is more powerful than pride. The Dalit children often went hungry and had stale food. The upper caste children would leave them their leftovers, and Limbale and his friends gulped it down hastily because their hunger drove them to desperation. Limbale talks about one incident where they all had gone for a picnic, and the upper caste children literally had a sumptuous meal and they were all eating merrily, while the Dalit children looked on because they had just scraps of food with them, and even that food was stale. And when the upper caste children finished their food, they collected all the leftovers and left it for the Dalits. Even when their pride was severely wounded, the Dalit children did not have any choice but to eat this food because they were hungry. It's as simple as that. Limbale was often reminded by his mother that leftover food is nectar, and this is indicative of the desperate situation in which the Dalits found themselves. The Dalits are always hungry, and Limbale, in a very, very poignant statement, says, God who made the Dalits should not have given them stomachs. They could stand all other torture, but hunger drove them insane. There is another moving account of how Limbale saw her sister eating banana skins and scolded her. Later, he also starts eating banana skins because he couldn't control his hunger. So hunger is employed as a strategic tool by the upper caste who know that the Dalits will be pliable if they are offered food. The Dalits are forced to live out their lives in misery in order to assuage this hunger. Our next topic is poverty. Dalit existence is often marked by acute poverty, which is often a result of wily upper caste manipulation. It is to the advantage of the upper caste to make sure that the Dalits never escape the threshold of poverty. Limbale's account reveals that poverty is a constant fixture in Dalit households. Though they toil hard, they are paid only a pittance and naturally their living conditions never improve. Most Dalits have to beg or go around doing menial tasks because they have no other means to earn money. The Dalits do not have access to many aspects of village life, and they are forced to do only certain tasks that the upper caste are unwilling to do. And this becomes a relentless cycle as these social demarcations carry forward from one generation to another. Now let's take a look at how the notion of purity comes into play. The Dalits are categorized as dirty and polluted people by the upper caste. This is a strategy that has been used from time immemorial to keep the Dalits away from the mainstream by categorically denying them access to socio-political benefits. Limbale narrates painful memories from his life when the Dalits were not allowed to drink water from wells or eat food along with the others on account of their caste. The Dalits are considered to be unclean and there were separate cups kept for Dalits in tea shops. One day, Limbale and his friend rebel against such practices and they lodge a formal police complaint. And this incident causes a social uproar and the tea shop owner Shivram gets very, very angry and breaks the cups meant for the Dalits. He says the Dalits are getting arrogant, so it is better that they don't drink tea anymore. Okay, they are not welcome to my shop anymore. He says that Limbale says that the Dalits are expected to carry the carcasses of dead animals, brew hooch, and do jobs that the upper caste find distasteful. Now, the irony lies in the fact that the upper caste people expect the Dalits to do certain kinds of jobs, and later they degrade the Dalits for doing these jobs. Our next topic is the sexual exploitation of Dalit women. Though the upper caste consider the Dalits to be polluted, their double standards are exposed when there is no end to the sexual exploitation of Dalit women. Limbale himself is the product of such a union. His mother, Masamai, is forcibly separated from her husband and her children by the dictates of the caste council on behalf of the landlord, Patil. She is then forced to be the Patil's concubine, and Limbale and his sisters are born from this liaison. The children carry the burden of shame as they are outcasts. The upper caste men keep Dalit women as their concubines, and Limbale remarks that the system is prevalent in almost all villages of India. Nobody is bothered about the ostracization that these women and their children face. These atrocities are normalized by the upper caste, who believe that the Dalits exist to serve them and their voracious appetites. And we come to our last slide, the importance of education. Dalits are kept imprisoned in their miserable existence by denying them access to the knowledge that they are not entitled to live their lives in such a manner. One of the most effective ways to curb such social injustice is through education. Limbale manages to get out of the suffocating life in the village by studying his way through to college. After he completed his education, he was able to get a job that promised economic independence. Though his journey was never easy and he had to face a lot of social prejudice, the fact remains that he wouldn't have been able to carve a better life for himself if he did not have the requisite education. Another important point in this context is that education will help the Dalits to get out of the rigid caste-based ideologies that have been drummed into them for centuries. Education will liberate their minds and thereby aid in a better understanding of the world of opportunities around them. That's all. Thank you.